Hello, my name is Ananth Venkatachalam, and today I'm going to be talking to you about corrosion. My presentation will consist of two parts. Part 1, I will talk about what is corrosion and why it matters in our everyday life. And part 2, I will talk about the process behind corrosion. Now, the first thing I will talk about is what is corrosion. Now, corrosion is a process where an unstable material transforms into a stable material. What is happening during that process, or transformation, is that the material, no matter if it's a polymer or a metal, is degrading or wearing off over time as a result of that transformation. The next thing I'm going to talk about is how it affects our everyday life. Now, there are 3 areas where corrosion can impact us. Number 1 is infrastructure. Whenever you construct a building or a bridge, you have to find materials that can make sure that the building or bridge is properly stable. What happens with corrosion is the material will degrade over time, and what happens is that it will result in the building, bridge, or any other form of infrastructure collapsing, as shown here. Another example is the biomedical industry. Now, one major innovation of the biomedical industry is implants. Implants are well known. They're used to insert it into the body whenever we lose that part of our body. What happens is that when the material is inserted into the body, as a result of processes in the human body, they can corrode the implant, as shown here. This is a hip implant where the metal has severely corroded, and that can cause a lot of problems. For example, it can cause blood poisoning, and it can cause infections that the body will eventually have to fight off. Our goal is to prevent any of this from happening. Now, for part 2, I'm going to talk about the processes behind corrosion. Now, there are 3 requirements to corrosion. The first requirement you need is a metal, such as iron or copper. And in this particular example, I'm going to be using iron. The other 2 requirements involve the use of oxygen from the environment, and another common requirement is that you would need an electrolyte, such as water. The process eventually starts. You have your unstable ion, iron 2+, which is shown here in an aqueous solution. Usually it will be in the environment, but what will happen is that because of the corrosion process, because of the oxygen that is as a result of the environment, what's happening is electrons are becoming free and are being produced as a result and are sort of being removed from this iron 2+. That process is called oxidation, and it involves losing electrons. As a result, these electrons produce OH-. This is called a hydroxide ion. And this is also in an aqueous solution, and this reacts with the iron 2+ that was shown here to form aqueous iron hydroxide, which is shown in this final compound. After that, what happens is if you have an electrolyte such as water or oxygen, what is happening is that you are gaining electrons in a process called reduction. And what happens is that after you react, these elements, whether it's oxygen and water, with this iron hydroxide aqueous solution, you're forming solid iron hydroxide, which is known as rust, and which is shown here. Now, there are 3 different stable forms, such as sulfides, hydroxides, and oxides. And our goal is to make sure that that does not happen. Now, I hope you enjoyed this presentation and have learned more about corrosion in the process of this presentation. Thank you.